I have a journal, actually, a student gave it to me once. It has the Joseph Campbell quote on the front, follow your bliss. Who knows how many journals have been sold across the globe with this, wonderful quote on it. I think discovering a passion or following your bliss is in a way the wrong verb, because that gives the young people in the world the idea that like it's fully formed, you just have to find it. Like, did I leave it under the couch? Or like, did I leave it in the bedroom? Like, where's my passion? I have to find it. Once I find it, I'll just follow it, right? Because most people that I know would be very happy to follow their bliss if they knew what their bliss was. Like, they'd be very happy to be passionate about something. They just don't have something about which to be passionate yet. And that to me was in my 20s, the most torturous part. I mean, I was, I guess like a pretty hard worker since the time I can remember being conscious. Like I had a lot of energy. But all throughout my 20s, I didn't know what to be hardworking about. Like I was like, not this, not this, not this. And to me, that was the hardest thing, not the perseverance part of grit, but the passion side. So my advice is to not think about passion as something you find or you follow, but more that you develop. Because when you talk about interests, they don't actually like they're not just like, oh, in your head there's something called like basketball interest. Like it develops over time, and it develops largely through experience, and being part of a group that like, and that doesn't happen like in a day. It happens over years. So when we ask the question like, how can I develop a passion, I think it's a process that takes years. Developmentally, it usually starts with interest. This kind of beyond the self purpose, which you and I probably really resonate with, is typically not what motivates a 9-year-old or even necessarily a 14-year-old. And in some cases, it doesn't actually motivate high performers until they are at a level of maturity. And frankly, sometimes it's like kind of late in their career where they're already really good at what they do, but increasingly they become purpose driven. So now they don't have just intrinsic interest, they have purpose and interest. But I do think that the magic recipe, if you will, is something that takes a lot of time, a lot of exposure, a lot of experience, a lot of support, a lot of mentoring, a lot of encouragement. And instead of having journals that say, follow your bliss, which sounds great, we could actually do what Joseph Campbell, who's the author of that quote, actually did. So Joseph Campbell was a professor, you probably know, he studied, the hero's journey, or like myths. He actually had this academic scholarship, which became the foundation of Star Wars and, the Luke Skywalker story, the hero's journey. But if you actually read the biography of Joseph Campbell, in his later years, he said, follow your bliss or whatever. But he literally wrote in his journal once when he was a young man, one thing I know that I'll never be is a professor. Like, who'd want to be a professor? Like, oh my God, it's so boring. I think I would kill myself, right? He grew up to be a professor. Like, that is literally what he was. So there's a journey that is, it takes time, it develops, it's not predictable. And I wish all young people knew that rather than like follow your, like craft your bliss, like, have patience, try new things. And over time, your passion will evolve.